So, welcome to the COVID countdown, everybody. If I'm a little grainy, it's because I'm trying to get good Wi-Fi. I don't know if it's because today it snowed. Can you believe that? It decided to snow. So I am here with Susan Voss with the Salon Spa Connection and Tippi Shorter with Mazani. She is the Global Artistic Director. And we are going to find out what you and Mazani have been up to, Tippi. So tell us how you're handling your lockdown.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me, ladies. I'm very excited to be here and share with you guys. Let me just say that prior to the mandatory stay at home, I was booked for classes. And when people started, getting sick and, it became more serious, I called and I'm like, hey, are we still doing these classes? Because I think I should not, travel. And basically, L'Oreal sent out a notice that, we would still educate for groups under 10. And this is like 2 months ago, not like anything that's happening now. And so I talked to my boss and I was like, hey, I understand that. And that's great. I said, except for I'm not educating locally. I actually have to get on a plane to go teach, which means I'm traveling by thousands of people to go teach 10 people,
Right.
I definitely, I think I, at that point, started trying to see how can I put my classes in a digital form. And so I had already started, thinking of that ahead of time as I was starting to cancel my own classes voluntarily. And then L'Oreal was like, listen, nobody's traveling. And so, so at that point, there was just a lot of like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And I was just like, hey, you remember when I told you I wasn't traveling? I already started doing some digital stuff.
So now, are you using Zoom for that? Or are you using GoToWebinar? Tell me what kind of platform you're using to create these classes.
Sure. So all the artists are using Zoom currently. There might be some challenges with that. As you guys know, that there's been some, some crazy things happening in professional meetings and such, but we've been thankful thus far that nothing has happened. But internally, like the brand internally has like their own internal system, but me as like as an artist, where we don't use the internal stuff. So we're currently using Zoom. So we'll see. So for now, Zoom is what we're using. But we created and when I say me, I mean me and about 5 or 6 of the Mazani artists created a fundamentals class, because what we do understand is that with textured hair, it's not something that is currently being taught in the schools. I know that it was just added to Milady. I know that a lot of schools are starting to incorporate it, but just widely known, textured hair is just not something that is taught in
Here's
school.
what they taught me about textured hair in the 80s was how to make it non-textured. So
right, exactly.
how do you,
exactly.
I know I had the Marcel irons with a stove.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And we did the sodium relaxers,
Oh, yeah.
with the metal hot combs. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's how old I am.
So
Like, that's not nice.
Let me just say, if I work in a salon full time, I would still have my oven and it's just, if it's not broke, don't need to fix it. But yeah, so what we decided to do was, before we started rolling out, like our cutting curriculum and color and, advanced styling, we really had to just start with fundamentals, because we just had to get everybody up to speed. So we're currently in the process of doing a 5-part series, which is called Texture 411. And the first step is product knowledge. I just did a fundamentals class this week, and I'm going to be posting a replay, so anyone can have access to that, and I'll make sure I give you guys the info so your viewers can check that out. And then the next 3 classes start rolling out next week, and those are all styling, so it's all hands-on. So I did a demo, like a wash and go demo, something you would do if I came to you for like a color or a cut and you're just finishing my hair. So that's the hands-on that I did. But now we're moving into more advanced styling techniques with texture for the next 3 modules. So super excited about it. And depending upon how long that we're going to be in this digital stage, and what I will say is that it's actually really fun. And it's super engaging, and we're getting tons of people, so many people. And I think the only part is that it's overwhelming, is that there's so many classes, right? So I know I was doing a class At the same time, one of my girlfriends is doing a hair color class, and I had people like, I don't know what to do. Do I watch Tippi or do I watch her? You know? And so the good thing is that a lot of these are being recorded and are being re-aired. So that is the good part. But, you know, depending upon how long we are in this digital space, we'll continue to roll out, like I said, the cutting curriculums and things like that, because outside of me just doing the education for Mazani, I am doing things for other companies and other brands. Like I'll be doing a Hairbrained, I'll be doing Salon Centric, I'll be doing hair.com, and so other things like that.
That's awesome. What do you find it challenging to transition from the in-person classes to digital classes?
I do. You know, I like energy, and you know, I'm a people person, so I feed off of the energy that's in front of me. So it's super hard, obviously, to feed off of the energy.
Yeah.
So, but what I will say is, so far it's been amazing energy. You know, we make sure that we are communicating. I'm just like, you know, I ask them to keep their videos on, because a lot of people are just really great to like shut the video off and live their life and parent and do, you know, cook dinner, whatever they're doing. And but I'm like, listen, guys, like I want to see you, because you know I'll be able to give you my best if I'm able to see that you're engaged. And also, you know, we know that learning takes energy. You know, you're only really going to get out of the class what you're putting into it, right? So if you're sitting there like, then that's kind of what you're going to get from it, you know. But if you're like, yeah, this is great, I'm taking notes, then you know, then that's what you're going to get out of it.
Awesome. What are you seeing for the future of our industry? Have you thought about that? And
you know what? So let me just say, I'm not in the salon full time, right? And so I don't have, and I think I shared this with you, like I don't have tons and tons of perspective for the in salon stylist. I did tell my husband that. I said, listen, when we are able to go back in the salon, I think I'm probably going to do like a full month straight. You know, I just want to like get in there and just to see people. Like I just feel like we're just gonna be like, yeah, you know, I just feel like the initial, you know, like, oh my gosh, I missed you, let's get it together, you know, I definitely think it's going to be overwhelming and wonderful, and but I think this is also, we're doing so much with helping people. Let me tell you how to blow dry your hair at home. Dogs, I'm at home,
No
life
worries.
happens, right?
We're all at home.
You know, let me show you how to blow dry your hair at home. Let me yeah, let me send you your, you know, your hair color formula. Let me show you how to do your, you know, so there's, you know, we might see a space where, you know, we're going to get this really big rush of people initially, but then people are going to be like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to come see you every other week or every 2 to 3. Like I can, you know, skip a week. And I that's, you know, and obviously it's a terrible thing to say, but like that's the space that we're going to end up being in. And with that, that's where like retail sales are going to be really important for the salon stylists.
agreed. I've thought many times of on a 2-month basis, I have a real flow, you know, 2 weeks are really busy, 2 weeks are okay, and the rest is pretty normal. And this is just throwing all of that up in the air, and the flow of, you know, I can't even get my head around what this is going to look like in say fall.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the biggest challenge I think that we as an industry have got to make sure that our voice gets heard coming back from this. Now there's a petition online that's running around to on the Kansas side to request that we get to come back to work on April 27th as a soft open.
Yeah.
And I signed that. I think that because of the standards of health and safety that we follow, I think it's ludicrous that we were ever shut down in the first place. I mean, and when you think about it, you know, I mean, there's plenty of people out there that are somehow getting their hair and makeup done in on the newscasting and everything else. So I just think this was a ridiculous segment of the end of the businesses to have to shut down. I get that we're in close proximity, but we're not in close proximity in large groups. Most people, 80% of the industry are soloists. They work one-on-one with people. They don't have crowds. We use EPA hospital grade disinfectant. So if you're out there in the public and you're watching this, we use the same cleaning supplies that the hospitals use. So you don't need to fear us. And if they continue to converse about this social distancing, that's the thing that's going to hurt our business. So we have to be ahead of it, above it, and get the word out to the public that our ability to touch you is probably the safest touch you'll ever get. More people are getting sick from being in the hospital than, I mean, rehab hospitals are having pandemics with COVID, where because one person got it and spread it in this weakened, vulnerable environment. We are not that environment. We're the
You know,
safest place you can come.
So I think so. I have super mixed feelings on that, right? My feeling is so yes, the one-on-one scenario I think is super positive and is something that could definitely materialize into people being able to come back into the salon. I think the challenge is that all salons aren't created equal. They're not all, so you've got a salon. Like I just think about like in my salon, when I had one in New York City, umpteen years ago, I had maybe 2,500 square feet and I only had like 6 stylists, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had 8 feet in between, but then you think of like, some of the dry bars or, some of those types of things where they're like 2 feet apart, and so if you've got 24 chairs that are all 2 feet apart, and now you've got 48 people all within, so it's just like, it's so yes, in certain
but we also have to look at the ratio of who's coming in and who's vulnerable, and the people that are of good health and the stylists that are of good health, and if we're all practicing good hygiene, it's
but without tests, we just don't know anything, right? It's just,
we know enough that it's a virus and that it's going to run its course, and that if you're healthy, if you're not one of those deemed vulnerable, the chances of it getting you and killing you are pretty slim. And that's the thing we have to keep reminding ourselves.
You just don't want to be around the asymptomatic people and you just don't know without.
Well, yeah, this is true, but I mean, that's going to happen for the rest of your life, asymptomatic people.
Right. You're absolutely right.
Let's don't live in fear is my whole point. Let's don't live in fear of a virus that is going to morph and change. And next fall, it'll be a COVID-20 and then it'll be a COVID-21. And this is here to stay. So the best thing we can do, I think, and I think we could all agree on this, is practice good health, sanitation, hygiene, and good personal health.
And rotation.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe not stack people up so much coming in.
So in that scenario. So back to like that one-on-one thing. And, so like those salons that are big and airy and like the salon that I'm in, it's like 6,000 square feet and there's like 12 chairs.
Beautiful.
Right?
And like Susan, your environment is private studios. Those are perfectly, that's a huge thing right now. Private studios, and even in our facility, at my spa, every room is private. So there's 4 walls and a door in between all of the rooms.
So a situation like that, I fully and wholeheartedly support. And so that's why I said, like, I'm hot and cold on the issue. It's like in those scenarios, yes. And the scenarios where the people are packed in like sardines, like that's not going to be good. But in a staggered, okay, well then, half the team works, 3 days a week and the other half work, another 3 days a week or something like that, where it's just.
That's kind of a cool idea. Work smarter, not harder. I love that idea. Can you imagine that, Susan? We rotate from, A through M and M through Z, and then
I think with better protocols in place, and if we have to wear masks from now on, that's fine, whatever it is, but I do think it's achievable. Living in fear, I'm not a big one for that. However, this is not great, and we're all kind of getting our head around what this is and how to navigate through it. And so, just taking the precautions. I feel like, okay, if you do A, B, and C, you're not going to get it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's the process. Okay, so precautions. Exactly. Yes. Like I tell you, my husband and I, my husband's looking for a new vehicle for his truck for his business, and we went to a car dealership yesterday. And none of the employees there had on gloves. I mean, okay, if you don't want to wear masks, fine. But gloves, you're dealing with keys, there's pens, there's, and there's tons of people in the waiting.
Did you wear gloves?
Oh, we had masking gloves. We were fully, and I felt like people were looking at us like we were crazy. I'm like, okay, but I'm gonna be healthy.
Right? So here's the thing. The mask and the gloves is really more for your personal protection. You're not going to touch what they touch. And if you should sneeze or cough, it captures it. So that helps the public. Exactly. So, and if somebody sneezes towards your direction, it'll inhibit what happens to you. So let's use our masks and gloves. If you're in fear or you're concerned, maybe you're not feeling that great that day, then wear your mask and gloves. But I love that you guys wore gloves.
We went to a place where, we were there's, you know, coffee make, you know, just people touch everything. So, you know, my family motto is, you know, hope for the best,
Prepare for the worst. Yeah.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
And, you know, we're hoping, you know, just everyone here is healthy, but we're not going to take any chances. You know, I work for a living. He works for a living. We can't, you know, we both raise our kid. We can't be home. We don't have the place to, you know, I mean, we have the space to self-isolate if we had to, but like, why chance it? You know, we have to go out and go into these public places. You know, I'm at Target, I'm at Walmart. I have my mask and my gloves. I don't care. You're fine. If you don't have it, that's fine. If, you know, when I go back to the salon, I will have it. If I have to go teach a class, I will have it, because
Right.
that's what I personally choose to do, you know.
Right. And I think it's a great way to be, and it puts our public at ease. But I do think the public was really, well, I don't know if it was the public that was so misinformed, but certainly our leaders had no clue as to what our industry does for people by putting our hands on them, and how we really are clean. And I hear, oh, well, not every salon's clean, et cetera, but no, but every salon's inspected by their boards. And if they didn't meet the criteria for sanitation and safety and infection control, they would have been either reprimanded or shut down. And that's public knowledge.
I don't know what state this is, and I want to feel like maybe it's Arizona. I saw it on Behind the Chair, but there's a state that did not close, like they didn't close their salons.
Well, I know South Dakota didn't close anything.
But they didn't close because the wife of the governor or mayor or somebody owns salons, and so that was
Isn't that funny?
Okay, that means one of us has to run for something. I ain't gonna be me. I could never get voted for anything. Too many skeletons in this closet.
Skeletons and opinions. I hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll never get voted for nothing. Not even when I was young, I got Miss Congeniality, but I don't think I'd get that this right now, because I've been kind of argumentative with people.
Oh, you know what? Debate is great.
Yeah, right? Debate's fun, and but it is a challenging time. Now I saw I think Tennessee is going back or Mississippi. One of them is going back to work this coming week. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of states that have heard the cry and said, okay, we're being a little punitive for this. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure it could also be the leaders have an inch and a half of outgrow on their color.
Right. They want to get in there. So with that though, now we also have to think about, yes, we can, you know, if we get back into the salon, but now we're also have to think about the economic loss that a lot of our customers are going through, right? So are we adjusting our prices? Like, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people have lost their jobs, so maybe they don't even feel like they need to have appointments because they don't have a place to go, you know. So what are we doing as salon stylists or even salon owners to get the traffic back in?
I think it's going to take getting past that hump of being super busy to figure out what, you know, I mean, who came back, who didn't, who can afford it, why didn't they come back, you know, taking all those variables into account. Most of my clientele, I would say, you know, and thinking about their jobs, I'm going to guess that most of them are working, but that's definitely not the case. And somebody who has a clientele of servers, I mean, geez, you know, it's going to take a minute. So I don't know. I wonder that very thing, actually.
When I first started out as a hairstylist in New York City, I made it a huge point to find all the super pretty female waitresses and
absolutely,
you know, give them like, hey, like $20 hairdos, you know, like I need you to be my customer and for a discount, and I need you to carry my business card. So I'm just thinking about like all the stylists that have gone that route and, you know, finding these, you know, but you know, a lot of the restaurants, you know, I'm just, the lines of when I was coming home from the dealership yesterday, some of the lines that I saw outside of, you know, these restaurants and drive-thrus, you know, like there are, I guess for me, because I haven't gone out, I haven't had a need to go out because my work I can do from home. By the way, can I say I've lived in my home for 3 years. I have spent more time in my office in the last 4 weeks than I have in 3 years. Mm-hmm. It has been insane.
Are you getting kind of tired of your four walls and your door?
No, you know what?
It's a beautiful office from what we can see. It's very pretty. I love it.
Thank you. And it's at the front of the house, so I get like a really nice view and the whole.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So, but, no, and then in the basement, I've always had like a little studio area because one of my hobbies is photography. And so I've always had like a area with a backdrop and lighting and stuff to shoot. So now that's where I'm able to do like my tutorials and my bigger, I've set it up like a salon,
Like a little studio. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, but I was super shocked yesterday when going out, just how much traffic there was on the roads, just like how many, cars there are at the restaurants, and it made me feel amazing because I'm just like, people are working, people are out and they're living, they're doing that.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next, once we do get to come back. Now, I know in Johnson County, our Kansas mayor has said we can come back as of May 1st. But I believe that Johnson County,
or in general.
In general, for the entire state, she says May 1st, we're resuming things as normal. That's the order from the Kansas governor.
We're 15.
Yeah, May 1st.
Okay,
but on the Missouri side, the nexus so there's 4 counties that nexus with the Missouri side. Mm-hmm. And the Kansas City, Missouri mayor apparently is setting the precedent for that. So he's saying not till we'll look at it again May 15th.
Yeah. So May 15th was the last date that we heard.
Yeah. So if if you live in Overland Park and you're listening, or you live in Shawnee, Mission, Merriam, any of the Kansas City, Kansas, you need to really check with your local mayor to see if the Kansas rules apply to you or if the Missouri rules apply to you. Because I believe there's a nexus with Missouri, and they've been handling the areas of population. So I'm hoping we've set a soft launch for May 1st under the governor rules. I have a call into the city of Overland Park to find out. For those of you who are listening, I haven't heard back yet if we get to do what Kansas says or if we have to do what Missouri says. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, in this whole thing, I have learned just how much our government entities do not work together.
Thank you.
And how really kind of messed up it is. I had no idea it was such a hot mess, and now I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, so you have
Florida.
No idea.
Tippi, it was Florida. Florida never shut down the hairdressers. That's what it was. Florida didn't.
Okay. Yeah. And I think, but I feel like it might have been Arizona as well. Like I
cool.
Feel, yeah. So I mean that just that trickles from the that starts at the top, and if there's no leadership there, right. It just everyone has to do their own thing.
Yeah.
Right?
And that, I guess that's part of the beauty of being in these United States, that we're united for a lot of things, but we still recognize that each state has its own culture, and they voted for those people based on their values. And so the things that come down from your leadership in your states, if you disagree with it, do something at the ballot box next time, or write a letter of concern, start a petition, but we all as a nation have really done, I would say the majority of us did get along and go along, and we all try. We are all trying. I'm pretty sure we're all trying to make this go away quickly.
Right. Are you all, as business owners, are you guys taking classes? Like, what are you all doing personally? Because I know that I'm teaching, but obviously as I'm also teaching, I'm constantly learning because there's so much there's just so much to consume. So what have you guys been into yourselves in regards to furthering yourself during this time?
Well, I've been writing and teaching a lot myself, and I have been sneaking in 15-minute educational training videos at a time. I take 15 minutes at a time, at least 4 or 5 times throughout the day, to watch a series of training things, especially on online streaming. Right. And I'm doing a lot of technical things in film and editing and production. So I'm taking a lot of tutorials on that. And I'm really boning up on my PK on my different product lines. So, but I'm only doing them in 15-minute increments. Probably I get 4 or 5 in a day in, which can sometimes finish a couple, but it is hard to do, isn't it, Susan, to get?
Oh,
well, you've got kids. Do you have kids at home, Tippi?
I do. I have a 13-year-old, a newly 13-year-old. So, and that's a whole other thing, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, how are you done with school in 90 minutes? Like, and so now she's like, and I'm gonna play Fortnite. I'm like, no.
She has really smart cells with firing synopsis and axioms
Yeah.
that work way faster than ours.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't believe it. I need you to show me.
Susan's kids are sharp as tacks. I mean, do you remember ever being that sharp, Susan?
No.
I
No, I just played in the dirt and rode my bike. I mean, so no, our lives are very different. But yeah, no, my life is children. My 7-year-old and my 10-year-old. I live in Kansas, so now they're home. Surprise, for till, well, I don't know, August. It's looking like so.
And you guys were at a school before we were.
Yes.
From Missouri.
Yes. So we went from I have a family in Dallas, and that's where we were for spring break, just hanging out at my mom's house. And yeah, we went from, just having regular life to now you're not going back to school. So it's been a lot to cope with. I won't lie. And so, I mean, it's okay. We like being at home, and I own a home, and we've done a lot of stuff outside. I've just tilled up an area for a garden. So that's what I'm doing personally. And my business really, most of what my business encompasses is listing classes and helping with employment, which both of those things have been put on hold. So it's given me an opportunity to catch up on a lot of other things. And, our fundraiser that we've put together, I'm always doing something. So I mean, I don't feel like I've gotten much of a break yet. Just now it's like, ooh, now I can do this and that and this and that. So I'm just constantly thinking about what's next, and I'm fielding a lot of messages, phone calls, emails from owners, from stylists. People want to know what's going on, and I don't know that I'm the authority to talk about that, but I do have my pulse on at least Kansas City and the salon and spa atmosphere. So yeah, I do a lot of communicating, which can be fun and it can be really exhausting.
Yeah.
Have you been getting any questions? Like, I know that there's a lot of the virtual learning, and I do feel like there's going to be a huge drop in doing tactile classes. But for those kinetic learners that only learn through doing and really are probably going to feel really frustrated with virtual learning, what do you see, for them? Are you doing any like one-on-one training with them so that you can ask them to do it? Like you could, like in this sense, I could say, okay, Tippi, show me, turn your webcam around and show me what you're frustrated with. So how are you handling it for the kinetic learner? Because I would think that would be very frustrating if you're a person who learns only by doing and you don't want to do it wrong, or you can't master it without another set of hands there. How are you helping with that?
That's a super great question. So not at this point, because as I mentioned, the class that we're doing is a 5-part series. So thus far, it's only been product knowledge and fundamentals. So it's really just about digesting the actual information, learning the characteristics of textured hair, why it does what it does, how to choose products. So we haven't like really gotten into a space where we're playing with the hair yet. Now moving into the more hands-on things. So these are really still kind of watch and learn, or see do is what we call them. Or not see do, I'm sorry. These are look and learns.
Right.
The next phase will be a see do. So because right now these are free classes. They're open for everybody. There's like a couple of hundred people on the classes. So it'd be impossible to, do a one-on-one. When we move into the see do classes, those are going to be, a small fee. And so there'll be much smaller classes. They'll be offered more frequently. And, there might be a group of like a max of like eight or 10, where we can take the time, exactly like the Brady Bunch photo that I posted yesterday. We'll be able to take the time, and you'll have your—
That was funny. I saw that.
That's gonna Zoom the whole time, right? But we'll have, like, hey, all right, so I'm gonna show you, and and then so with this, I'll have pre-recorded video of like close up, opposed to you trying to say like, oh, the light's weird, I can't see, turn the mannequin. I'll do like a close-up video, and then I'll be able to play it in addition to doing it, and then I will sit and I will, everybody will do it, and I will direct in that way. So there'll be classes like that moving forward.
Well,
And honestly, I really see, talking with my higher ups at Mazani and L'Oreal, really just, understanding that this is going to be, a big part of what continues to happen. There are going to be salons that obviously want you to come in, but you're thinking, well, when you bring someone in, you're paying for them to fly to house, there's like there's a fee, a larger fee. And if you can, have everyone do it in the salon setting, in the salon group, or even at their own homes, I feel like a lot of people are going to really want this option, because they can do it at any time versus having to plan, 40, 50 people from a salon to be all at one place, all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
I think my bigger fear for those educators that are out there that are listening that are like yourself, though, because this is how you make a living. And so with this cry of free education, are we putting ourselves out of business?
It's every new challenge presents more challenges, right? So there is a young lady who I follow online, and she now curly cutting. I just created a haircut curly cutting curriculum for Mazani. It's called Aircut. We are launching it. It was supposed to launch in March, and obviously it's had to be pushed back. I mean, I have dates on the calendar through the rest of the year. I'm going to teach these classes, and so we're kind of torn, like, are we going to start putting this online yet, or are we going to wait? And so that was kind of why we wanted to do fundamentals first, is trying to get everybody up to speed. So if we're at a place where we can't go back into the salon and we have to teach it online, at least we, everyone is with us in terms of like the understanding textured hair. So, but this young lady taught people how to cut their own curls, which is not super easy to do. And she did. She was like selling her shears and to customers, and and here's how to cut your own hair. And it's just like, but it's not one size fits all. Like, and that's just with products.
Oh yeah,
size fits all. So it's just like,
I've been enjoying all the at-home haircuts. Have you guys been watching the video streams of at-home haircuts where they pull them down and all of a sudden their bangs went?
Right. So just right. And so now let's add some extra shrinkage, right? To that. If if I pull this here and cut this here, it's gonna be like, can you imagine?
No.
So
I think that sounds like a disaster. I can't believe it's going well, but good for her.
The horror. Well, I think she did it like on Instagram Live. She got tons and tons of kickback on it. So I don't know. I haven't been following that story too closely. Someone just sent it to me, and I was just like, what?
She threw herself under the bus.
Yeah.
So, but with that, to your question, I do see brands. So I see brands offering all the free education, because with brands, you still have the products, to support behind it. So there's still some revenue there. And then in terms of like the individual people, like I've seen, some very inexpensive classes with prices starting to pop up. And I think that that's what's going to end up happening, right? So right now it's like, okay, this first month, let's just do something for our community. But it's like, okay, yeah, but now it's $20, or now.
Yeah, because there's a cost to produce these.
Yeah.
Zoom's not free, internet's not free, production time's not free. The research and development that you put into putting your presentations together, that's all time, and time costs money, or time's worth money. So it just depends. So I just was curious.
I'll tell you what though, I was just telling my husband, I was like, with Zoom having so many issues, I said, is it the only platform? Because and I was like, it can't be. But the fact that everyone is like, you watch TV, you watch the news, you watch whatever, everyone is talking about Zoom. It's like, I've not heard,
because it's a $15 platform. And GoToMeeting through Centrix, where you could have 1,000 people on it, you're looking at hundreds of dollars a month to have that. So it is the least expensive platform for that. But Google Hangouts is free, you guys. So if you're looking to visit with your friends and family and your clients, you could go to Google Hangouts. That's a free deal. Is it FaceTime on Apple?
Yeah, iPhone. Apple, but my friends and I have been using either Squad or House Party.
Oh, I've heard House Party super fun.
Yeah, it is. So you can have like up to 8 people, and so you can do consultations, and that's kind of a cool thing. So like, hey, you can reach out. Like, I know all of my customers who've got bangs all my customers who've got bangs, to accept my invite and come to my house party at like 1 o'clock today. We're going to show
Love
you
it.
lots of bangs.
You must have a glass of wine in your hand.
Yes. Yeah.
We still haven't had a cocktail party yet, Susan.
Oh my gosh, we need
Please
to.
invite me.
We should get all of the speakers we had at the end of this together for a cocktail party right the night before we get to go back and count it down like New Year's Eve.
You just have to like update. You'll have to update the name and keep it going.
Yeah. Instead of,
Really,
I don't know what we'll do.
Really fun.
Yeah.
It really could be really fun. Instead of COVID countdown, it's a back to normalcy party. I'm not sure. New normalcy party.
Normal, exactly.
Yeah,
And
go
Tippi,
back to,
you look so good. I mean, I feel like I was looking at my eyebrows like, oh my gosh, I did.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm hiding about 1.5 inches of outgrow gray because I'm out of my color. I almost put my monkeys.
So that's the joy of the curls, is that you can't, you see it in there, but you can't see it in there. So that's the joy. Let me tell you, I took so I did work out this morning. I'm like, I have to have a schedule, because for the first 2 weeks, my family, we laid on the couch and vegged out. We Netflixed out.
Oh, how fun.
Netflix and cookies. And so 10 pounds later, we're like, all right, we got to get up and do something. So my trainer,
I know, right?
Workouts now in the morning. But I took one of my best friends. Her name is Ashunta Sharif. She is a makeup artist. She and I worked on Alicia Keys together for like 10 years. And she had a Real Woman's makeup class last night.
Oh, how fun.
So I learned tons of amazing tricks that I was excited to pull off this morning. So like, I'm just looking, like I see my highlights popping.
Yeah, they look beautiful.
Thank you.
Tippi, is there anything else you'd care to share with everybody before we go?
You know what? I'd love, so let me just say this. I've lived here 8 years. Prior to this, I lived in New York City, and I had a salon in New York City for 5 years. When moving here, I didn't feel super connected to the beauty industry here, because I didn't know where to find people outside of just going to their salons, which I wasn't going to do because I'm super shy, and that's just not who I am. And so
with that smile, you're super shy, girl. Snap out of it. No.
Would love, and if there are happening, then I just need to know about it. But I would love to see like some beauty community events. Like I know that when I first came here, I was just like, where are my people? Like where are the people that speak my language? Well, and so a girlfriend of mine, I had a friend who used to own Entourage Beauty School.
Shamika?
Yeah, one of my good girlfriends. And she and I put together this little event. And because at that time I was Aveda's global artistic director for Texture, I was super connected to the Aveda salons instantly. And so reached out to them and got like tons of salon owners and stylists and students to come. And it was like a really cute little mingle. It was something we wanted to do like once a month, and maybe have a little education, a little round table, a little conversation, inspiration, whatever. And then she ended up moving, so it just it kind of fizzled, and then I was traveling, and so it wasn't something that kept on. But is there anything here that is beauty related that consistently happens?
Yes, and I'm going to introduce you to her, Susan Voss. So here's the thing. And so if any of you don't know, and I am going to toot your horn here, Susan, because she doesn't ever really do it for herself, but she created a system called Salon Spa Connection. And what she's done is she's bridged the gap between nail artists, massage therapists, estheticians, barbers, and stylists, and brought us all together. We actually have been working to create, we're hoping to have a KC Beauty Expo that is all inclusive. We were hoping to do it in 2020. It wasn't coming together like we needed it to. We were going to shoot for 2021. We'll see what happens if we get to do that, Susan. But she's actually doing, she organizes things like a salon spa crawl, and she posts on the Salon Spa Connection education if you're looking to find employment, if you're looking to find what's going on. But all of the events that we've been trying to really just make sure that everything that's beauty related is getting, Susan's been amazing at at funneling it out and bringing it all to one site, which
That's right.
allows us to come together. And I think it's going to eventually morph into, we're going to have our own group somewhere at some point, but we do try to do get-togethers. And then isn't there the Midwest Hair Awards coming up too through
Oh,
Vilma?
with through Vilma, yeah.
And so, yeah, I
There's
think
typically a couple things. There's a group actually called Social Stylists. I don't know if you've heard that, but
No,
a
I'll write that
couple of
down.
stylists around downtown Kansas City actually, and you
Oh,
can follow
nice.
them on Instagram. And they do regular meetups, and so it's just stylists around town that like to hang out and talk and kind of not in a gossipy format, just to hang out and be real and chat. And so there's a lot of different things like that going on around town, and what I try to do is put it all in one spot so everybody knows, because you don't know, just like you said, it's hard to know, and all I do is look at Facebook and look at Instagram and look at what's going on and bring it all together. So
Fantastic.
yeah, thank you, it's a lot.
Yeah, and if you know of anybody that is doing things, just send them to the Salon Spa Connection to connect with Susan.
Absolutely.
And another thing that Susan's really doing it's starting to really pick up now is we're doing a COVID kind of a relief fund, if you will, for those who are really struggling and in need in our industry, like specific to the industry.
Yeah.
Is really important, because I think people outside of the industry don't really understand that a lot of times it's generational. A lot of times it's in both sides of families. A lot of stylists meet each other in the workplace and end up creating families together.
Yeah.
And so, when you're both out of work, or you just started out on your own, or you were a contract employee or a commission employee versus a payrolled employee. Now we don't have a lot of the benefits that some people who were on a payroll or part of a corporate platform were. And so Susan's doing this really great fundraiser, and we're looking for both donations, and and there's a place to apply for need, and Susan can tell you a little bit more about that.
Okay.
We just create a place for any stylist, barber, esthetician, massage therapist, anyone who's licensed in our industry to go and sign up for relief if they feel like they need a little extra help. Still waiting on unemployment here. That obviously the SBA thing is not going so well. So just trying to offer a little bit more assistance. And we've gotten several donations as far as like items and things like that I just sort of funnel to the people that indicated that's what they needed. We started to have some bigger donations. One of the school owners in town sent a huge donation. I was able to write out several checks yesterday. It was the best feeling ever and he specified that he wanted to help families with children. So, sending them money for food was so wonderful. So we're still looking for anybody who has deeper pockets that's looking to donate. Need a nice tax write-off. We're happy to promote them. So,
and will this be on your, or can they find this on on your site, on the platform?
yes. Okay. And we're just created some t-shirts to sell. All proceeds go to the fundraiser. And so the t-shirts, the sales are up, and we just have received the t-shirts. So we're about to make them and crank them out. So that should be good as well. Yeah. We've made some for the industry and for clients, to show your support. So,
well, that's exciting. Well, I will be, when we're done, going to get my t-shirts. So that's exciting.
Yeah. What a joy to meet you.
Yes.
You're positive, and you're just wonderfully insightful. So I can't thank you enough for coming on this edition of COVID Countdown. You just made our snowy day sunnier.
It's still snowing out there. I don't know.
I don't know if it is. We had some really fun big flakes. I woke up about 5 and I saw it snowing. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I was like,
at 7, he was like, it's snowing. I'm like,
didn't we get like snow a couple years back in May too? The joke is, if you don't like the weather around here, wait 5 minutes.
Atmosphere.
Okay, you guys go take on the day, and Tippi we might be checking in with you and sending you an invite to come to the Countdown Back to Work party.
Yeah.
I think it should require all of the great t-shirts, and we wear pajama bottoms and slippers, and everybody have a glass of wine or their favorite adult beverage.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys on the next episode of the COVID Countdown.
Bye, Tippi. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
you.
Tracy.